time I am going to do a video of like, I know I shouldn't be doing this yet because it's not his birthday yet, and it's been like, what, his anniversary is not until like 4 years. If you know who I'm talking about, he was one, if not my favourite actor of all time. He was a genius, by the way. It is, of course, Robin Williams. Now, before I tell you what my top 5 favourite Robin Williams movies are, I just want to say that I always loved Robin Williams as a kid. The first film I saw him in, I think, was Mrs Doeuvre. I'm not too sure. I think it was. Yeah, but the one thing I remember Robin Williams for was that the quick wit. Like, he always had this kind of like, I mean, you'd be there talking to him, and the next thing he just starts talking like he make a joke like that, and you're like, what? Huh? I mean, the man's brain was like electricity. It was just like he comes up with these really quick jokes, and you just can't stop laughing at his jokes. He was a very funny guy. So yeah, as you know, he is, of course, 4 years dead, of course, this year, from suicide. Yeah, when I've heard that he did commit, I was just in tears. Even up to today, I still miss him, you know. I think the reason why, now this is a personal story to me, before I tell you my list. My dad, of course, committed suicide 28 years ago, and yeah, I think that's why Robin Williams' death kind of hurt me inside, because my dad committed suicide and he committed suicide, and I was like, you know, I couldn't watch any Robin Williams movies for a long time because every time I watched them I just started crying like an idiot. Yeah, I mean, there was no other actor. Yeah, if someone said to me which other actor reminds me of Robin Williams, I have to say Jim Carrey, because he has that kind of like quick, over the top. But they're both different, because Jim Carrey's up with the face going, whereas Robin Williams like, he starts talking like really quick, and you're like, what is he saying? And he talks real slow like this. He goes like this, and he goes, oh, did you hear the other one on the side road? Oh, blah, 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 ha ha ha. And everyone's like, huh? But yeah. With that story being said about, you know, my personal life, here is my top 5 favourite Robin Williams movies of all time, and here we go. Right. Number 5 is a movie that I think I saw, was like the first film I saw him in. It was, of course, Mrs Doeuvre. I actually took a break from this movie like 10 years ago. I don't know why. At first when I saw the movie, I was like, huh? I didn't get the whole cross-dressing scenario. I thought it was just pure stupid. And then I watched it again, and surprisingly, it's now one of my favourite Robin Williams movies of all time. It was hilarious from start to finish. Basically, Mrs Doubtfire is about this guy called Daniel Hillard, played by Williams, who, he's a loving father. He's got 3 kids. He's got 2 boys and a girl. The 2 boys, he's got 2 boys, fuck. He's got 2 girls and a boy, played by Matthew Lawrence from The Hot Chick, Lisa Locob. She played Lindy, and of course Mara Wilson from Matilda played Natalie. And Sally Field, of course, played his wife in the film. She was a total bitch. She, of course, wants to file divorce from Daniel because he's irresponsible, he's mature, he's pretty much a very childish man, and of course she just couldn't take anymore, and of course she decides that the court, that his restraining order is like every weekend, and of course he's like, no, I don't want that, I don't want to see my kids every weekend, I want to see them every day. So he comes up with this plan to dress up as a 60-year-old Scottish woman called Mrs Eugenia deal. Ooh, good. And I would tell you, when I saw him as Mrs Doubtfire the first time, I was like, oh, who's the woman? Who's the elderly woman? I've never seen her before. And then when I found out it was Robin Williams, I was like, what? That's Robin Williams in disguise? What the hell? I mean, it was such a really good special effects. You swear he was an actual 60-year-old English woman. They say she was Scottish or English, but she's actually Scottish because she talks like this. She talks like this. Goes, oh my god, oh dear, oh god. So yeah, it was a hilarious film, and of course, his younger son finds out that Mr. Jeffris is him, of course, and they're like, oh, I can't tell your mother about this, and he's like, okay, and yeah, and this crazy mayhem starts. Like this one scene, like where he puts his face in the cake, and it made me laugh hysterically. I was like, and he goes, hello. Oh, I'm so sorry, dear. Oh, what like a yeti in this get up. Oh, I get Danny. Hold on, Danny. Come in, sirs. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. And it goes off with the cake like melting off his face. It was hilarious. It was a very funny movie, and I thought it was hilarious. I loved Mrs. Doeuvre, so yeah. Number 4 is a Peter Pan origin, but it's actually about the villain. It is, of course, Hook, which also starred Robert Williams and Dustin Hoffman. Yeah, both of them played cross-dressing men in different movies, and here they are in this movie. Hook is basically it's kind of like an origin story of Captain Hook, but they should have called it Pan, even though there was a Pan like in 2015 with Hugh Jackman and all. But basically it's about the grown-up version of Peter Pan. Well, Peter Pan played by Williams, of course, who has to go back to Neverland because Captain Hook is like he kidnapped Peter's kids, and of course Peter has to go back and try how to fly again, how to believe again. He's like, I'm too old, I'm not Peter Pan. And Wendy, played Maggie Smith from Downton Abbey and Harry Potter, is like, you are Peter Pan. He's like, huh? And yeah, and he's so God, he was really like he was a real child at heart anyway. In reality, Robin Williams was. He was very he had this he had this kind of like childish persona, but he was very, he was very funny in Hook as well, and I enjoyed Hook. And Dustin Hoffman looked unrecognisable as Captain Hook. I was like, oh, it's Dustin Hoffman. Then you've got Bill. Oh God, that guy, Bill Hopkins. And also, there was also a cameo with Phil Collins, who played this detective in the movie, and he was hilarious. When I seen Phil Collins, like, oh my God, it's Phil Collins in a Robin Williams movie. It was hilarious. And yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite films of all time with him in it. And yeah, it's a very funny movie. Number 3 is, of course, Jumanji. Yeah, they remade this film last year with Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart and Jack Black and Karen Gilligan. But come on. Even though Robin Williams' Jumanji had shitty CGI, but still, it was a very good film. Williams plays this guy called Alan Parrish, who gets sucked into the board game when he was like 13 years of age, and of course, like back in 1995, of course, Kirsten Dunst's character and Bradley David Pierce, the little guy who played Chip and voiced Chip and Beast, was in that movie as well. And they of course brought back Robert Williams back to 1995, and he's like, what years? And Kirsten Dunst's character's like, Judy's like, it's 1995. And he's like, huh? And then he's like, in the very beginning, he looks like a hermit. It was like, he has like a long brown hair and this big bushy beard, and he's like, does someone say 5 or 6? And everyone's like, 5? He goes, I'm free, Mom, Dad, I'm free. And I was like, oh, it was very, very funny. So, yeah, it was a very funny movie, Jumanji. It made me laugh as well. And the score is done by James Horner, which is a surprise. And yeah, it was a very good movie. I enjoyed Jumanji as a kid. I still watch it to this day, and it's a childhood classic. It's really good. Number 2 is a film. Now, I had to put this in my list because it's the most underrated film of his I've ever come across. It's basically, it actually was so bad it bombed the box office because it was marketed wrong. Robin Williams, of course, fell out with Disney again. You know what it is. It's Bicentennial Man. I got this movie last year on DVD because I saw it like a couple times before, and he plays this robot called NDR-14, who was like a household robot, and of course little girl, little miss is like, oh, let's call him Andrew, and of course Andrew then stuck with the robot, and he develops these kind of human emotions, and he goes off and is quite like, he wants to be free, of course, he wants freedom. So when the Martin family die, he of course goes on a quest to find out who is like him. And eventually he does find this kind of really annoying robot called Galatea, voiced by Kirsten Warren, and she's really annoying, really irritating. Like she's like a radio that wouldn't shut up. She was very, 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 very annoying. And of course, it turns out that she's owned by this guy called Rupert Burns, who of course designs artificial skin and organs and all that crack. And Andrew decides that he wants to become human, so he does become human. And of course, when he does, he ends up meeting this girl who looks like Little Miss, played by the same actress, of course, in Bette Davis. Her name is Portia Channing, and of course he ends up falling in love with her. And like in another couple of years, like they kind of try to get married, but of course they can't because he's a robot or immortal, and they're like, oh, you'll never be a human. He's like, he proves them all wrong. He does become human. Like he actually gets all the organs, like the nervous system and the sensory system, and yeah, it was a very, very heartwarming film. And it was really, really sad in the end though. It kind of had the same ending as spoiler alert, The Notebook. I don't know why, but it had that same ending as that film, because if you've seen the movie, you know what it is. But if you haven't seen Bicycle Titanium Man, do watch it. It's a very underrated sci-fi Robin Williams movie. It came out in 1999 and is directed by no other than Chris Columbus, who directed him in 9 Months, which was also hilarious. He played this Russian doctor in it, and Mrs. Doeuvre. So yeah, I loved it. So that's it. Before I tell you my number one favorite Robin Williams movie of all time, some of the honorable mentions. Runaway Vacation. God, what the films I seen, man. Oh God, there's so many of them. Flubber, that's another one. Flubber. Oh God, what other films I seen, man. Jack was another one as well. And I think that's all I can think of. Yeah, so of course, my favourite Robin Williams movie of all time is Aladdin. Oh God, every scene that he is in that film, voicing the genie, he cracks me up. I mean, every scene, he stole every single scene in that film, and he was just hilarious. I mean, he does these ad libs, like he does a lot of impersonations, like this one where he does like Jack Nicholson, goes, "All right, Sparky, here's the deal. You got it." And then this one goes, "I can't believe I wasn't for robbed." He goes, yeah, he plays like he also played like this gay fashionista, goes mucha mucha, and it was so hilarious when he was like that. And he was there like being Joan Rivers as well, and he goes, "Oh, aren't I fabulous, Harry? Oh yes." And he goes, "When it comes to exotic mammals." So yeah, it was a very funny movie. I thought it was hilarious. Aladdin. It's a classic. You know, it's got great music. It's got a great score. It's got, like I said, music score. Robin Williams again. He just, like I said, stole the entire film. I mean, if he wasn't in the film, I wouldn't have known what it would have been the film it was that I grew up with. Like The Lion King, they are remaking this movie with Will Smith. Oh, Will Smith. I do like Will Smith. I like him in a lot of films, but I'm a bit skeptic of him being Robert Williams' character. I was like, seriously? They should have gone to Jim Carrey or someone like that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Will Smith will do with the role of the genie. So yeah. So yeah, that's my top 5 favourite Robin Williams movies of all time. Thanks for watching, and yeah, it's 4 years on since he passed in August 11th, 2014. So with that said, farewell my friend, and thank you for making my childhood a reality. Goodbye my friend.